Happy Saturday. Boyfriend and I just got sushi, and now we're off to the bookstore. So we're at one of our favorite, just like local shopping centers. We're gonna go to the bookstore where we met at. It's also the bookstore I did my video on, where I talked about like how I used to work there and what the experience was like, which I will link in the cards if you guys are interested. But I hope you guys enjoy my little shopping adventure. I'm very excited. Sweet bitter. Sweet bitter is really good if you just want kind of a slice of life of what it would be like to be a waitress in New York. I liked that one. And then Vox. So this is like a dystopia where women are only given like a certain number of words they can say in a day. This would be like if you're a fan of The Handmaid's Tale. So boyfriend says we look like them. I think I've decided, even though I've seen the movie, I'm gonna read The Circle or listen to the audiobook. It's on Libby. So I don't read a lot of poetry, but look how gorgeous. The pages are like yellowed. Upstream by Mary Oliver. You guys let me know if I should start reading her. I feel like I've seen her a lot. What's up, guys? So it's the next day and I thought I would sit down and do a little mini book haul. I only picked up 2 books at the bookstore. I really did not buy that much because I was walking around with like 4 or 5 different books. My total was gonna be like, over $100, and I was like, you know what? I could thrift most of these and be just as happy with the used version. So that's what I did. I have a couple of books that I thrifted off eBay coming in the mail, but for now I thought I would sit down and go through the 2 that I bought at the bookstore. So the first one that I picked up is Burnt Sugar by Avni Doshi. I know I've seen this around somewhere. I don't remember if it was Pinterest or Instagram. I maybe even saw one of my favorite booktubers review it. I can't remember, but I know that I'd heard of it before. It was shortlisted for the Booker Prize in 2020, and it's basically about like mother-daughter relationships. It says it's about obsession and betrayal. I've also been kind of on a short books kick lately, just because the faster I finish them, the more motivated it sort of keeps me to continue reading. This one's like barely over 200 pages, so I feel like I could get through it pretty quickly. The blurb says, "This is a love story and a story about betrayal, not between lovers, but between a mother and a daughter. In her youth, Tara was wild. She abandoned her arranged marriage to join an ashram, embarked on a stint as a beggar, mostly to spite her affluent parents, and spent years chasing a homeless artist, all with little Antara in tow. But now Tara is forgetting things, and Antara is an adult, an artist and married, and must confront the task of caring for a woman who never cared for her." Contemporary fiction has definitely been where it's been at for me, whatever. I have been on a kick. That's like all I've been reading lately. I'm just over classics. I think being a student of English literature for so long, that's what I went to school for. That's what I have my bachelor's degree in, is English literature. You're sort of bombarded with, these are the books that you need to read and these are the books that you should know. And while some of them, valid, yes, they should be books that you read and have a base knowledge of, like for example, 1984 by George Orwell. I think I've mentioned on my channel before, it's my favorite book. I do think every human alive should read that book. I would just much rather read contemporary fiction. That's kind of a tangent, but anyway, I'm excited for this. It takes place in India too, which I'm really excited about. I can't recall that I've ever read a book that took place in India. If I have, I'll put it on the screen, but off the top of my head, I can't think of a book that I've read that took place in India, so excited for that one. And then this next one, I saw it and immediately was like, well, I have to get it. It's a book about books. So this is Must Love Books by Shauna Robinson. I don't think that I've heard of this one. I don't think that I recall seeing it anywhere. And I want to say it's about the publishing industry. I barely even read the back. I just saw the cover and I thought, okay, it's coming home with me. I definitely need it. Taylor Jenkins Reid even blurbed it. She says, it's a heartfelt and exciting debut. I do love Taylor Jenkins Reid. Well, I've only read like Malibu Rising and Daisy Jones and the Six, but I was obsessed with both of those. It says it's a book for book lovers on the back, so it's like, how can you not? I think the back is written kind of like a resume. Can you guys see that? So I'll just read the blurb. It says, applicant Nora Hughes, the overworked, underpaid, last assistant standing, at least for now. Experience, 5 years too many. When Nora landed an editorial assistant position at Parsons Press, it was her first step toward the dream job. But after 5 years of lunch orders, finicky authors, and per my last emails, Nora has come to one grand conclusion: dream jobs do not exist. With her life spiraling and the Parsons staff sinking, Nora gets hit with even worse news. Parsons is cutting her already unlivable salary. Unable to afford her rent, Nora decides to moonlight for a rival publisher. But when Andrew Santos, a best-selling Parsons author no one can afford to lose, is thrown into the mix, Nora has to decide where her loyalties lie. This one's short-ish as well. It's a little over 300 pages. I might look up the audiobook of this one. I feel like this would be a fun one to pair with the audiobook. I don't know. It just seems, from the cover, it seems like it's going to be a little bit more lighthearted, very summery color. I love this like orangey red, this like corally color. So yes, very excited for these two. I'm sure you'll see me post about them on my Instagram at some point this summer. What's up, guys? So I just got home from work, picked up the two things that I mentioned thrifting off of eBay that I got in the mail. So yeah, just gonna sit down and let's unbox these, shall we? First up, which I saw this on the shelf, it caught my eye because of how freaking colorful it is. The cover is amazing, is Cassandra Saw. I think it's short stories. I remember picking it up, taking a photo of it at the store, but I was like, you know what? Since I've never heard of this author, Gwen E. Kirby, sometimes like you kind of want to do a little research first before you spend the money. So anyway, I ended up thrifting it, getting it a little bit cheaper. The cover for this, holy smokes, is so stinking cool. I'll probably do like a cutaway of it, but it's so detailed, so vibrant and colorful and awesome. I mean, it just screams summer to me. Guillermo's taking a poop. Let's just give him a second. Did you finish? Cool. So the blurb at the top, which is really the part that kind of convinced me to read it there in the green, it says, Margaret Atwood meets Buffy in these funny, warm, and furious stories of women at their breaking points from Hellenic times to today. In this ebullient collection, virgins escape from being sacrificed, witches refuse to be burned, whores aren't ashamed, and every woman gets a chance to be a radioactive cockroach warrior who snaps back at catcallers. Like, what a freaking cool description. So it sounds like it's gonna cover, you know, lots of different points in history. Love Margaret Atwood, I love The Handmaid's Tale. And then Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I remember binging all, is it 7 seasons? 6 or 7 seasons when I was in college, because I was doing my, not dissertation because I wasn't getting my master's, but my, what was it called? It was like a capstone project, and I'm obsessed. It's such a good show if you've never seen Buffy. It was on Netflix for a while. They may have taken it off, but anyway, this just sounds like it's gonna be so good. I can see myself, you know, ripping through this summer. It looks and sounds like it's gonna be a rockin' time, so I will definitely let you guys know probably in a future wrap up how this goes. And then the next one, okay, so This month, which you should be seeing a wrap up, an April wrap up at some point, I read My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh, which I have never seen a bad review before. It chronicles a woman who basically wants to go on like a self-imposed bed rest for a year because she's kind of tired of life. So she goes to a crazy psychiatrist who gives her all the pills, and she just tries to sleep the year away. Essentially, that's the plot. Well, it's very good. It kind of sounds like, how could somebody write like hundreds of pages about that? But she manages it. And so I went on the hunt for her other books because I liked her writing style. It feels very like, what would one of my like grammar professors from college have called this type of writing? Like, she trims away the fat, if that makes sense. There's not a lot of fat. You know, every sentence is very purposeful. It's very lean. That's how they would describe it. It's very lean. This was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize. It is Homesick for Another World. I want to say this one is stories as well. I literally just realized these are both short story collections, so that'll be fun. Loved the cover. It reminds me a little bit of Cultish, actually, by Amanda Montell, because of the UFO. That's kind of cool. I have that one actually. So yeah, it kind of gave me that same vibe. If you guys have read Cultish before, I highly recommend this one as well. I think I read this one in January. This was the first book that I read in 2022. So can't get enough of that one. Again, this is one that's written so well. It's basically like essays, so it's a very collegiate style of writing. So I do recommend this one as well. Anyway, tangent. But the blurb on this one says, the characters in this highly anticipated debut collection are unsteady on their feet. They yearn for connection and betterment, but are often tripped up by their own baser impulses and existential insecurities. So yeah, I'm excited to see, I don't know if you guys like to do this, but if you find an author that you like and they have like a couple of novels, and then they also have like a short story collection or some poetry or, you know, nonfiction or whatever, you kind of like to cross-examine the different genres and like see how their voice translates to different genres. So it'll be interesting to see if I like her short stories as much as I liked her novel. Again, I will let you know how I get on with that. So those were the two that I thrifted. If you guys have read these, let me know if they were any good, because sometimes, I don't know, it's hard to trust reviews online. You never really know. This is gonna be the messiest bun ever. Can't see it. Hope it looks halfway decent. Watermelon sugar high. Watermelon sugar high.